What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So, Congress is voting to not go to war, folks. Apparently, we got some bipartisan legislation coming in, but we're going to see how this all falls down. Check this out, y'all. Bipartisan lawmakers to introduce resolution to prohibit U.S. involvement in Iran. That is right. So Thomas Masse and Ro Khanna have co-sponsored a bill. Well, I think it was Thomas Masse that actually wrote up the legislation, and Ro Khanna just signed on to it. But regardless, they're trying to stop the Trump administration from getting involved in Iran. Right? Now, you guys probably know my position on this. I am in the non-interventionist camp. I don't think we need to be involved. However, I think this goes a little bit too far because, you know, I understand how all this works, but at the same time, you know, if, say, Iran decides to strike the USS Nimitz that is currently on its way to that area, what do we do at that point if we have a prohibited, pretty much handicapped Trump administration from doing anything legislatively? Like, what do we do? Like, I know he can respond, but it's like, are we going to have new legislation to allow him to strike back? You know, it's like, what do we do at this point? Like, is this going too far? This is the question I pose for the comments section. Y'all let me know, is this going to go too far? We'll read out the news, see what we got going on here, but y'all let me know about that. That's my question for the day, if you will. A bipartisan group of House members on Tuesday introduced a war powers resolution to prohibit U.S. involvement in Iran as its conflict with Israel intensifies, signaling they may force a vote on the matter. Rep. Thomas Masse, who is one of the most outspoken libertarian-leaning Republicans advocating against U.S. military intervention abroad, posted on the social media site X on Monday that he would introduce such a resolution on Tuesday. This is not our war, but if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution, Masse said. I'm introducing a bipartisan war powers resolution tomorrow to prohibit our involvement. I invite all members of Congress to co-sponsor this resolution. Rep. Ro Khanna said he would co-lead the resolution with Masse and that the resolution would be privileged, a designation that can allow the members to circumvent leadership to force a full House vote. So this is fascinating. And, you know, the first question that I had, the first thing that popped into my brain was, where was Congress on all the other military interventions of the past 40 years, for crying out loud? How come we didn't have resolutions to stop the administration from getting involved in any of these other wars, right? Like, the only time that war has been declared, as we know, the last time it was declared was, I think, World War II. Now, Bush Jr., if you want to call him that, did get an authorization of use of military force or whatever. But it's like, you know, how about all the other times? How about Afghanistan? That was 2 decades of Congress didn't declare war. All these other interventions that we've been involved with, to my knowledge, we've never had any sort of resolution like this. Why now? I'm just wondering this. Why Trump? Why now? Like, I just don't get that. Well, that was the first thing that came to my mind. But look, I get it. I'm on the side of these people, seriously. But I'm not sure that I agree with this. Because once again, you know, if something were to happen and we were to be attacked, this would prohibit Donald Trump from getting involved unless there's specific language in this thing that says if we get attacked. But I haven't read the bill, so I don't know. I'm just going based upon what they're telling me in the corporate press. So let's keep reading. But I've already read the article. It doesn't say anything about that. So it is what it is. No war in Iran. It's time for every member to go on record. Are you with the neocons who led us into Iraq, or do you stand with the American people? kind of said in a post on X. I'm proud to co-lead this bipartisan war powers resolution with Rep. Masse that is privileged and must receive a vote. The text of the resolution says Congress hereby directs the President to terminate the use of United States armed forces from hostilities against the Islamic Republic of Iran or any part of its government or military unless explicitly authorized by a declaration of war or specific authorization for use of military force against Iran. Now, as far as I know, we're not involved at all. We haven't done anything, so I don't know what the hell they're talking about here. What do they mean by terminate? Because as far as I know, we're refueling Israeli fighter jets. That's it. We haven't struck anything. Once again, folks, you know, I do kind of keep my head buried a little bit, somewhat in the news, because I don't, like I said, I don't watch Fox. I don't watch any of these. I don't keep up to date with breaking news. A lot of the times I read the news, but a lot of times reading the news, you don't get the breaking news sometimes. So maybe we have gone to war and I just don't know about it in the past 20 minutes. Possibly. I have no idea. But, I mean, this was writ up this morning, so it is what it is. I'm not sure what the hell they're talking about. Terminate the use of United States armed forces from hostilities. That would insinuate that we're involved. Like, what do they mean? Does that mean we can't share intelligence? Does that mean they can't use our satellites? Like, how far does that go? You know, I'm just curious about that. It clarifies, though, that the resolution should not be used to disrupt intelligence gathering or the sharing of intelligence between the United States and any coalition partner if the President determines such sharing is appropriate and in the national security interests of the United States. The idea got swift support from some House Democrats. Signing on, Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Don Bauer also said he would sign on. No other Republicans have co-sponsored the resolution yet. So, yeah, they probably are thinking like I'm thinking. Like, are you taking this a little bit too far there, Thomas Masse? Because it seems to me that we don't have any indication that Trump plans on striking Iran. He's said vehemently over and over and over again, he's looking for a diplomatic solution and seems to be just completely fine with Israel being the attack dog in this situation and just letting Israel do its thing and refueling Israeli jets, which I don't have a problem with that. I mean, that is intervention, but that's not military intervention technically, like, you know, the United States striking militarily at least. So, you know, I'm just wondering if they're kind of on that same page. You know, what if we get attacked here? That's going to hamstring Trump from responding. He's going to have to go to Congress and get an authorization of the use of military force. If that happens, that's what it sounds like to me. Right? Once again, like I said, I haven't read the entire resolution, but President Trump has declined to rule out using the power of the U.S. military to help Israel strike Iran, even as he pushes Iran to negotiate and strike a deal to ensure it would never obtain a nuclear weapon. Yeah, why would he do that? Why would he rule out the use of military? That would signal to Iran that we're not going to get involved. Maybe you want that threat lingering in the background, for crying out loud. Like, I just don't understand the corporate press and their narratives sometimes, right? Like, this is all just narrative pushing, micro manipulations, if you will. Like, President Trump has declined. Like, what do you mean declined? When did he actually decline that? He said explicitly that he's looking for a diplomatic solution here. The U.S. has helped Israel in missile defense, but the Pentagon said Monday night that American forces are maintaining their defensive posture. On Air Force One on Monday night, Trump told reporters, "We're looking for better than a ceasefire," and was looking for a real end with Iran giving up entirely. Yeah, as a matter of fact, if you follow my video yesterday, it was a post with 3 words: unconditional surrender. Now, if you didn't watch my video from yesterday, you don't get that one. But basically, I read a news article that said that Trump left a post that was only 3 words, and those 3 words were unconditional surrender. Yeah, that one obviously got overlooked in the final edit, clearly. But that's all of that one. So I'm just curious to get y'all's take on should they pass this? Is any Republicans going to sign on to this? If they force a vote, which it sounds like they're going to, do you think it's going to pass? I don't think it's going to pass, honestly. But once again, folks, I'm on the side of Thomas Masse on this. I don't want us to get involved. I don't think we should. But I do believe, and I think it's kind of a cop-out, that they are sending in United States Navy into the line of fire, in a sense, right? Like they're sending them through the Strait of Hormuz and into that area for a reason. They want Iran to strike United States military to give us the Cassius belly that we need to go ahead and topple that government, which would be insane. Like, Putin's coming out talking about don't do it type of thing, which, I mean, does Putin is he even capable of saber rattling anymore? Like, does anybody take his threats seriously at this point? Sure, he has nukes, but I'm sorry. The United States striking Iran, that's not worthy of lobbing a bunch of nukes at Washington. I'm sorry. That's just, I think Trump could decimate Iran. Now, if we were to nuke Iran, that might, imply that Putin might just do that, but I still doubt it. There's still the possibilities there, but I still doubt it. But I just found all this. I don't like these types of situations. We'll put it that way. Situation's kind of bad. It's a tenuous situation. I don't want us to get involved, but at the same time, you're looking at Iran, that we've got a bunch of intelligence. You got Israel telling us that they're enriching uranium. Well, as a matter of fact, that's not even up for debate because Iran has outright said that they're enriching uranium. And we know that they're enriching well past the point to where it's needed for civilian use for nuclear power plants. So it's like, what do we do at this point, right? We don't want them getting a bomb because we know they're the #1 state sponsor of terror in the world. So, that would also imply that if they were to gain that technology and procure or manufacture some sort of dirty bomb, nuclear weapon, they're not going to get thermonuclear weapons. Just this would be basic technology like World War II type of technology here. A fission bomb, not a fusion bomb. Which is still highly devastating. By the way, look at Nagasaki, for crying out loud, in Hiroshima. But even still, it's not anywhere near the level of what the United States or Russia or China is capable of. Then you got Pakistan over here saying that if Israel nukes Iran, that they will nuke Israel. So it's like we got all these threats being lobbed all over the place. Putin's throwing his 2 cents in, and then China's doing its thing, which China's always doing its thing. So it's like it's a very tenuous situation, and I think cooler heads need to prevail here. So I think it's a bad idea all the way around for U.S. involvement in this. I think if we want to support Israel with refueling their jet fighters or whatever and intelligence, I'm fine with that. I don't care because once again, Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terror. Honestly, I would love to see regime change. I just don't want us to be responsible for it. I would love for the people of Iran to do that themselves because they are the ones responsible for their own government, right? Or at least that's how it should be. So I don't want, Mossad involved in that. I don't want any other world power involved with regime change. I want Iran to be involved with Iran's own toppling of their own government, if you will. So, we'll leave that at that. That's my opinion on that. So I think cooler heads need to prevail. And, if Israel wants to keep doing what it's doing, who are we to stop them, right? Once again, folks. But y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. That's all I got on this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. Y'all don't forget, smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. And if you could, I would appreciate it, y'all, if you would look below the video and click that join button. Sign up, become a member, because I need y'all's help. But outside of all that, y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.